I think when I first came to understand that I was trans,
Yeah.
I wanted a penis because I thought that I needed one to be a complete man. But now I'm happy with my body as it, and I don't feel any desire to change any aspect of it. People who watch my videos also haven't been with a trans guy before, but have the fantasy.
Yeah.
So seeing me teaching what makes me feel good is something they can put themselves in that position, and they're turned on by that because they would also want me to.
That's the bit they want to be able to do, but maybe wouldn't, again, know
what
how
to
to.
do. Yeah.
When I watch this kind of movies, trans guy doesn't come, and that upsets me because I wanted to see how.
He sat there with the tissues wiping his eyes instead.
It upsets me because I want to understand how does that work.
Like, I didn't even know that I could squirt until
That's Wednesday.
Until this morning.
sometimes I squirt,
Okay.
but for me that's a separate moment from my actual orgasm, which isn't necessarily like physically visible. The recent Online Safety Act has made things a lot worse for sex workers, and there's always this kind of fear about what the future will be as a trans person, as a sex worker, and then those two things together, that carries a lot of anxiety with it. For example, if I work with a friend in the same building and we're both escorting, usually for safety, so that you have someone else in the place in case something goes wrong, that's considered brothel keeping, and that's a crime.
When it used to be against the law to have gay sex, well, whose business is it?
Yeah.
And of course, forcing somebody to have gay sex and choosing to have sex are two completely different things.
Yeah, I've never really watched it.
You've been living under a stone.
Yeah.
I'm not even a fan of it, and I've been made watch it like a billion times.
By me.
My 5-year-old daughter is now
Knows
like
it,
lip syncing around the house. Like,
I think maybe if I actually sat down to watch it, I would probably enjoy it, but I've just never got into it.
Hi, I'm Azamat.
And I'm Oliver, and we're the founders of Friend of Dorothy.
At today's episode, we are super excited to have our guest. That's when I mess up. In today's episode, we're excited to meet our guest, Eddy, trans sex worker.
Hi, Eddie. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Eddie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming in. So where to start? I personally follow you on Instagram. I don't know if Azamat does, actually. We've been going through your Instagram this morning, and we know your boyfriend.
You know him?
Realized, well, we know of him. He used to be one of our influencers.
Oh, no. So he mentioned, he
He
did some promo
just
stuff
off
for you.
topic, but we seen him this morning. We were like, hold on, we know this ginger guy. And then we were like working out, like, have we slept with him? That's going to be awkward. And then we were like, oh no, he used to be one of our influencers.
Yeah, he did a couple of posts for you, I think.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, sorry, totally off topic there.
Eddy, we usually start asking our guests to tell us a little bit about themselves, starting from childhood, where you're from, and a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay. I spent most of my childhood in Suffolk, and I knew that I was trans when I was 8, so I transitioned socially around that time. Obviously couldn't access anything medical for a long time, so I was pretty unhappy for the first few years after that, going through the wrong puberty and having changes in my body that I obviously was like deeply uncomfortable with. When I was 14, I was able to access puberty blockers, and then when I was 16, I started on testosterone. So things got a lot better after that.
Just one step back, I'm just super curious. So you said at the age of 8.
Yeah.
So, but can you tell me a little bit more? What were you feeling?
It was quite a gradual thing, I think. A lot of it I don't really remember in detail now because it was such a long time ago. And at that age, I didn't have the language or the understanding of what it meant to be trans. I didn't go to my parents and say, I'm trans. I just, at some point, came to understand that I was a boy. And I didn't really have the social or cultural understanding that there was something wrong with that. I just knew that there was something wrong with my body and the way that I was being perceived.
how would visually that reflect on your daily life? I'm making an assumption, like, would you feel uncomfortable wearing dress, or would you feel uncomfortable with certain toys, or with the groups, or the kids that you played with?
I was quite tomboy, I guess, before I came to understand that I was actually just a boy. But I think it's less to do with masculinity or having those kind of stereotypes about I didn't like Barbies, I liked Action Man, or I liked cars or things like that. It was less to do with that and more just in the way of I knew that I was a boy, in the same way that a lot of cis gay boys grow up and they don't necessarily have like masculine tastes, but that doesn't make them less of a boy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that my understanding of myself as a boy was just related to my tastes or my preferences. It was more just in the same way that you knew at 8 that you were a boy. Like,
Yeah.
so did I.
And how did your parents take it at 8 so young?
Yeah, I think they were confused. Obviously now there's a lot more of a conversation about trans people and more people have heard of what it means to be trans, even though a lot of misinformation is sort of what the first people sort of encounter about it. But they came at it, my mum especially, from an angle of just wanting me to be happy and wanting to be supportive and letting me kind of just listening to me, really.
Figure it out, sort of
Yeah.
thing. Oh, wow. Did your parents allow you to make changes into how you would dress at that age and so on? Or it was left completely up to you?
Yeah, they kind of let me guide it.
And school was fine?
School was mixed. I had some problems with some teachers who weren't comfortable with it and refused to call me by the right name and things like that. And I moved schools when I was, I think, 10. So at that point, I'd been living as a boy for 2 years. And the new school was really bad with it. They announced to the class that I was actually a girl. And they told my parents and me that it was sort of the law that everyone had to know about it, that all the teachers had to be informed, which wasn't true, but we didn't really know any better. So we were just like, sure, well, if that has to be done, then that has to be done.
Can I just ask some context? How old are you, Eddie?
I'm 29.
You're 29. So this was 20 years ago.
I guess it was about 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
So the teachers just announced it. There was a problem with you coming in the clothes of your choice, or?
The school uniform was like girls and boys were both allowed to wear trousers. So
Okay,
that
didn't
wasn't an issue. The main issue was the gym class, because I had to get changed in the girls' changing rooms and join the girls' gym class and use the girls' toilets and everything like that, which was horrible.
Yeah.
And not to push home the point, but it's the same. Like, imagine if they made you do that when you were at school, and it's the same.
Yeah. Is it different now? Do you think in
worse.
school? It's
I think
worse
it's
now.
worse. Yes. I think in some ways there's more social acceptance and more social understanding of trans people. But at my first school, when I socially transitioned, no one knew what it was. And I think maybe it was partly because everyone was 8, and at that age you just kind of accept things.
Yeah.
Because you don't have as much bigotry. That's something that's learned. But it was kind of just, okay, Eddie's a boy now and we're just going to get on with things. Whereas now I think there's more of a connotation about being trans and more misinformation and media scapegoating and things about people saying it's a social contagion.
So I want to backtrack a minute. So we have a 5-year-old daughter. And the jump from 5 to 8 to me still seems so young. I mean, and of course, if she came home and said, oh, that's something I wanted, I'd be like, fine, go for it, figure you out. But it is very young. And we've had some other gay parents on the podcast and so on. And I think with young people now, actually so tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think younger people are more accepting of it nowadays.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And the problem tends to be older people.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
When I was going to school, this could have never have happened.
Yeah.
And I think you're sort of in the generation after me of going to school.
Eddie, may I ask you questions? I'm still curious, again, at early stage. So how do you know that, again, it's perspective of a kid and a parent, like, is it a phase or it's not a phase? It's like this is the fact. So how...
Do you mean how does the parent know, or how does Eddie know?
how did you feel and how did the parents feel?
I mean, did you feel that you being gay or you being a boy was also a phase? Like for me,
Yeah.
it was the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I just knew.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it in
Yeah.
any sort of clearer than that.
And then at school, the classmates and how did they react? How did they accept you?
Everyone was quite accepting because it didn't feel like anything particularly unusual. I'm sure
Yeah.
there were some people who sort of said nasty things,
Yeah.
but it got a lot worse when I moved schools and I had all these problems because
Yeah.
there were these kind of rumors going around about me, and there were a lot of people who weren't very kind about it.
Yeah. And how does NHS support families?
Now it's getting a lot worse. So puberty blockers have been banned in the UK. That's what I started on when I was 14. And what those do is just pause puberty.
Okay.
It gives the parent and the child time to, put things on hold, just figure things out. And it's like what you were saying about it potentially being a phase, which is incredibly rare. But if that's the case, it just means that there's more time to
Understand.
think about things, understand things. And it means that child isn't put through the trauma of going through the wrong puberty, which is what I had to suffer through up until being 14. And now those have been banned in the UK, but only for trans children. And some of the reasoning behind it was that they're unsafe and there hasn't been enough research into it. But these same drugs are used for children who are going through precocious puberty. So if a child starts puberty at 7, they'll be put on these same drugs that have now been banned for trans people.
Okay.
So it's not that they're unsafe, it's just that they don't want to use them for trans people. So it is just transphobia, it is just bigotry. So in that way, things have got a lot worse for trans kids.
And you were on this puberty blocking treatment, right?
So I started them at 14.
Yep.
And then at 16, I went on testosterone.
So that's how it works, right? So you're put on the puberty blockers. Once you're confident, right, you are for transitioning. That's when you start more serious.
I mean, my preference would have been to go on testosterone much younger, so that I started the right puberty at the right age.
Okay.
Because I then didn't start male puberty until I was 16, so I was a bit behind everyone else. And I'd obviously already had that time up until I was 14 going through female puberty, which was horrible. So in theory, it's a time to think about things and decide, which can be seen as a good thing. But for me, it would have been much better if I'd just been on testosterone earlier.
So what was horrible about having female puberty?
It felt wrong. I feel like I keep doing this, but like imagine if you like grew breasts and everyone around you the same age of you, their voice was getting deeper and yours wasn't, and you started to have a period and things like that would be pretty traumatic.
Of course.
Without trivializing it, I guess it's the same as anything you might not like about your body. You know, if anybody who has probably not the same, but if you've got a hang up about your body in any way, and if that's something that makes you feel bad, just saying, well, you've got to live with it for a while until you understand it better. It's a pretty horrible way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
We don't do that with anything else in society.
Yeah.
And who makes the decision of that you can start at 14, that you can start at 16? Was that your parents?
As in, who sets the...
First of all, who sets the guidelines, the ages for it? So the government set it, and they've changed it?
Yes.
They've changed it, okay.
Yeah, so previously children were able to access puberty blockers and now they're not.
From any age?
Yeah, which is great because puberty obviously can start at any age.
Any age, yeah. So all these different things are happening. Obviously, you're 8 and you start to realize. You're 14 and you start to take the first puberty blockers. And then at 16, you get to start taking testosterone and you can start transitioning. Emotionally, are you happy when this is going on? How's it making you feel? So I imagine
starting testosterone made me happy.
Yeah.
Because that's when I really started to feel like I was becoming more myself. I felt more comfortable in my body.
What does it mean? Is it like daily medication, injections?
It's an injection every 3 months for me, but there's different ways you can take it. Some people have an injection every 2 weeks. Other people do a gel every day.
Yeah. And then what happens to your body?
Basically just went through male puberty, so started getting more body hair and My boys
That's
got
where the
deep
hairy
down.
legs come from, yes?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And you started feeling more comfortable and happier.
yeah.
And then what happened at that age? Were you already going to, was like end of high school and you were going to uni?
Yeah, I went to uni, yeah. I went to Manchester.
I guess at that point, I guess your classmates at the uni already saw you as a
Yeah.
man, right? Did you have to come out to them at some point?
Most people at uni I didn't come out to.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a
reason?
need to.
Yeah.
It generally was something I just told people that I was going to sleep with, that otherwise, like my friends and things, people I met in class, that conversation never came up.
Yeah.
And there was no reason to have it, really.
Yeah.
I think now I'm sort of open with everyone and out to everyone because it's all over social media.
Of course. I guess the separate question is sexuality, right? Like whether you're straight or gay.
Yeah.
Is that the right way I asked the question?
Yeah, I'm gay.
Is that common? Or like what is usually most common?
I don't know the statistics, but I guess it's the same as in the general population. Like some trans people are gay, some are straight, some are bi. Like,
Yeah.
same as anyone.
Yeah. And you're gay.
Yes.
At what age did you understand that?
I had a girlfriend when I was 15 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I thought of myself as straight or maybe bi. And then
She turned you gay. I'm joking.
I started sleeping with guys and
Never looked
dating
back.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did she know that you were trans
yeah,
man?
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And
Yeah,
was
we
it
were
difficult?
sleeping together.
But was it difficult for you to come out to her?
Yes, I was. So I was 15. We were drunk. We were sitting on the floor of the bathroom. I think I cried, but she was okay with it. I think she'd heard some of the rumors at school, which is obviously not nice, but she'd obviously heard them and maybe thought about it a little bit in her head and thought, I think I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
And then when I started crying and saying that I had something to tell her, she
Yeah.
was like, oh, I think I already know what it is.
Okay. Okay.
And we stayed together for another 3 years. So
That's nice.
yeah.
Uh-huh. So Eddie, where did you study? What were you majoring in?
So I studied English and German in Manchester. Realised that it was kind of a useless degree.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't really have a plan before I started uni. I just wanted to kill time for 4 years, which I did.
Yeah.
And then I was in the same place that I was in before I started, not really knowing what to do. And I ended up going back to work in the same place that I was working in before. And then I started working on reception at a gym,
Yeah.
minimum wage kind of thing. It wasn't bad, and I was sort of making enough to pay rent and stuff, but
Yeah.
it wasn't great. So I decided to try escorting. Saw a few clients and sort of it went okay. And then lockdown started.
Yeah.
Obviously couldn't escort anymore. I was still working part-time, but I decided to set up an OnlyFans and give that a go.
Yeah,
which
like
is
many
obviously
people
what
did.
Everyone did.
Everyone did in lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. I was just doing solo stuff during lockdown.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any plan for it or think that it was going to go anywhere. And then when lockdown lifted, I started filming with other people. And by that point, I'd moved to London. So it kind of just took off a little bit.
So when you start on your fans, you start with like your own videos, you upload them and you promote them on Twitter. Or
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And you just hope that it will pick up.
At the beginning, I wasn't necessarily hoping it would pick up.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't planning to make a career out of it. I did it as a bit of an experiment in lockdown. And if I made a bit of extra money from it, that would be a bonus. I wasn't planning to make it into a proper career or sort of necessarily follow it after lockdown.
Was it exciting to see first subscribers, first paying
Yeah.
clients? Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I got an actual subscriber on OnlyFans, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It felt good.
Yeah.
I've still
but
got the message you sent me to thank me.
And was there like a point when you like saw like 100 new subscribers or you received like a very big paycheck? Was there any like milestones in your career?
It happened quite gradually. I think the first month in lockdown, I made like $50 or something.
Yeah.
Which at the time I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting to make anything. So
course.
it's just, I thought that was like,
35 from me.
And 15 me.
and then it just kind of went up kind of gradually. I think the big turning point was moving to London and filming with other creators. Obviously then you get the promotion from other people, the kind of mutual advertising. But at the same time, I started taking it a bit more seriously and putting more effort into it. And I just started escorting again because this was after lockdown as well. I was like, I'm going to try to edit my videos in a more professional way rather than previously the solo videos. I would kind of just film and upload.
So 3 things here. So you started collaborating to increase the amount of people, like visibility, right?
Yeah.
Better quality of the editing.
Yeah.
And doing it more regularly, more often.
Yeah.
So these 3 things kind of help to grow.
Yeah, I think so.
How do you find collaborators?
Word of mouth, if I film with someone, especially more so when I'm visiting a different city. If I'm going to go there and I'm arranging to film with someone, I might say, do you have any recommendations for other people I could reach out to, or people you can vouch for that are reliable? But in London, I'd say people reach out to each other and say, I'm going to be in London, or I saw that you filmed with someone I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to film together?
I almost feel like, is it like a WhatsApp group of all of the people who collaborate with each other, and you have your own kind of world where you discuss this, like, I'll be here, I'll be there?
You joke, but there are WhatsApp groups where, there's usually one for each major city. Like recently I was in Amsterdam and Berlin, and got added to those groups for those places.
How many people are in the groups?
Maybe a few hundred in each. There's a couple of London ones, and then a couple that are UK wide.
Okay. And would you say on OnlyFans, part of the reason you're successful is your niche?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
You look quite proud of it, actually. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to chalk it entirely up to that, because I do think I put a lot of effort into what I do, and I do think I make good content. But at the same time, there's a lot of people doing that, and it is quite oversaturated. So I think being a trans guy definitely
having
helps with
something
that.
different to offer. Okay.
But then there are other trans guys doing it, but not that many in the UK. Most trans guys making porn are in the US.
Okay.
Do you have any certain criteria to people who you film with?
In terms of body type or appearance, I'm not picky, because I want to make sure that I'm trying to film with a kind of diverse range of people.
Okay.
It's one of the problems I think with finding people to collaborate with, is that the biggest creators are often cis, white, hairy, muscle gays, and those videos do well, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to always be reinforcing those beauty standards by filming with the same type of person. I want to film with a range of people, and sometimes it's hard to do that when the most successful people mostly look the same. Other than that, they need to have a recent STI test, and they need to be polite and communicative and reliable and all the basic things that are necessary just for arranging a collaboration.
And in terms of numbers, do you feel like, okay, this collaborator should have at least 2,000 followers, a benchmark that you set for yourself?
Obviously, the more followers, the better.
Yeah.
But I would also look at their recent videos, if they're good quality, maybe the engagement that they're getting online. Obviously, also if we're like sexually compatible, if it's going to be an immediate no because there's nothing we could do together, then that's obviously going to be a factor. What I said about diversity, I would probably be more flexible with someone who was from a minority group if they have fewer followers, because I want to make sure that I'm creating content that's diverse. I understand that it's harder for someone who's Black or disabled to become successful in this industry.
Yeah.
So I also want to create more leeway to film with people who have fewer followers, who are from groups like that.
And why is that important for you?
The diversity. I recognize that in some ways I reinforce some of those standards. I'm thin and toned and hairy and kind of masculine and white and able-bodied and all of those things. I have a platform as a trans person that I want to use in the right way.
Yeah. That's
like
amazing.
I'm a marginalized group, and I want to make sure that I'm not pulling up the ladder behind me.
That's very nice. So I assume that many collaborators are having first experience with trans men with you.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So how does that usually work?
Do you brief them on
do you
the
brief,
different
exactly
things?
like do you brief them? How does it work in terms of
Because the way you get pleasure is going to be different to the way I get pleasure.
Yeah.
Like I would almost need
guidance with instructions? Yeah. What is your instruction?
Sex guide for dummies sort of thing.
So I do send a kind of list of what I'm into to someone I'm going to collaborate with. If they're immediately like, none of that sounds good to me, then we know that there's no point taking the
Collaborating.
conversation any further.
I guess they also look at your content as well.
Yeah, you get a
which
pretty
is-
good idea. You can scroll through, you get an idea of what I'm into. I think also sometimes incorporating some of that guidance and instructions into the video can be really hot. I think a lot of the people who watch my videos possibly also haven't been with a trans guy before, but have
Okay.
the fantasy.
Yeah.
So seeing me teaching someone how to eat my pussy, what makes me feel good, is something they can put themselves in that position, and they're turned on by that because they would also want me to.
That's the
guide
bit they
them
want
and-
to be able to do,
Yeah.
but maybe wouldn't, again, know
Wouldn't
how
what
to.
do. Yeah.
I must admit, Eddie, people like you who post your work educate us about ourselves as well. What I'm saying, for example, I personally, when I start seeing more FTM people on the adult websites, I was like, A, I'm curious. B, I think I'm attracted.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that about myself
Yeah.
because I'm this, how it's called, golden gay, when like I
I
never
hate
had
that term, but yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. I never had sex with a woman I didn't want to, but when I see male body, I think the organ doesn't really matter to
Yeah.
me, and I would really want to try. And I think so many.
So pop your top off.
So
I'll give you my card later.
yeah, so I guess so many clients of yours, viewers, subscribers, those kind of guys who are very curious, who want to try for the first time. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm happy to oblige that. Like it benefits me as well. So.
Yeah. What kind of instructions do you usually give? Can you give us like a snap? We might cut.
Here's
We
the
might keep
here's
it.
the thing. I would almost feel like, let's try and keep it as clean as possible. Like I need to. I look at you now, and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't need to be. There's nothing fragile about you. You're quite a masked man. But then I'd be like, you took your clothes off. I'm like, I don't want to break it.
I feel like vaginas are a lot more durable than penises.
Okay.
Like what? I'm sorry, Oliver.
I don't know. I feel like I'd need to be gentle down
Worried
there.
about like some sort of feminine like delicateness.
I don't
Like,
know.
I promise
just
you it's not like that.
no. I've even been with women, so I know it's not like that.
I have one more question. I don't know whether it will go into the podcast or it will be cut off. Just really curious. When I watch adult movies with FTM, I usually trying to understand when did FTM partner finished, because it's usually not visible comparing to when the guy comes,
Yeah.
right? So how does that work usually?
Sometimes I squirt,
Okay.
but for me that's a separate moment from my actual orgasm, which isn't necessarily like physically visible. I mean,
Okay.
for me it is like it's a whole body thing for me, and my whole body sort of tenses, and I think it's obvious when I come.
Okay.
But I will say, if you're watching more mainstream porn with trans guys in it, sometimes they won't come.
Yeah.
Sometimes the video just doesn't prioritize that. So the cis guy will come, and then that will be the end of the video. So you watching that and not seeing the trans guy come doesn't mean that you're missing something. Sometimes they just haven't filmed it. So it might have been that the director didn't ask the trans guy how he wants to come, or when he wants to come, or anything like that.
So that's exactly what happens in the way that when I watch this kind of movies, trans guy doesn't come, and that upsets me because I wanted to see how
He sat there with the tissues wiping his eyes instead.
it upsets me because I want to understand how does that work, and because for me, when the trans guy comes, that's when I get okay. Now I understand. Like I'm complete with my goal.
I think that's something really powerful about platforms like OnlyFans, because it means that the content is being made by us.
Okay.
So if I'm filming with someone, the video is not finished until I come. Sometimes I film videos with guys and they stay completely clothed. It's just complete oral worship. I come, the video's over. So for me, I'm quite a selfish lover.
Yeah.
Like my orgasm is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want the other person to enjoy themselves and feel pleasure as well. But I often do film with people where they're more givers or more submissive, and the whole video is based around my pleasure and them giving that to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's something really nice about it, because you don't really see that at all in mainstream trans porn at all.
Yeah.
It's usually about the trans person being used for the other person's pleasure.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to see trans guys coming, just look
I
on
need to
look on
subscribe.
OnlyFans. You need to subscribe, yeah.
Okay. And you just mentioned about squirting. Again, someone who has I have no idea I heard about it.
Yeah.
Can you explain how is that different from orgasm? I'm sorry, I'm sounding so uneducated
No, it's okay.
here.
Like I didn't even know that I could squirt until I
Last Wednesday.
Until this morning.
It's been a really good morning. I hooked up with a guy at uni, and then it just happened, and we were both like, "Oh my God, what was that?" Like in a nice way. Then I knew that my body was capable of it, and then after a while, I tried to do it to myself, and it is just that it's like overstimulation. Like after you come, if someone keeps like touching you, like it can feel like too much
Yes.
stimulation. But like that overstimulation for me is what makes me squirt.
And does it feel same as orgasm when you...
No, it's like the orgasm is finished, but then the kind of release is when I squirt.
But you can do it multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No one
How...
likes to show off. Multiple times. 3 times on a Thursday.
So do I understand correctly that for you, penetration doesn't mean leading to orgasm or squirt?
Yeah, that's right. Like I can sometimes come from penetration, but normally, well, literally only when there's also some kind of sensation against my clit. And sometimes that happens automatically just
Yeah.
because of the anatomy, but that doesn't always happen, or that'll be a separate sort of event.
Okay. Like in straight world, very common, girls would say that they didn't orgasm, they simulated or whatever. Does it happen to you often as well?
No.
You always make sure that you come.
Yeah, I kind of know my body.
Yeah.
Because I don't think women don't come because of them. I think and again, we're not women, so we don't know, but I would imagine it's more from men who come and then they're done.
Yeah.
And they just leave the woman
Yeah.
unsatisfied,
Yeah.
rather than the woman can't come.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I've come on that, I'm done.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's just more a lazy partner
Okay.
when a woman is not coming.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
And I have 2 more questions.
Okay.
One is, I saw on your social media when I was preparing for this interview that you don't do anal.
Correct.
Is that because you don't get pleasure out of it?
I've honestly never tried it. It's never really appealed to me. I already have a hole that feels good.
Okay.
So one that doesn't need any prep and
No, it's
just doesn't
definitely
come-
showing off, isn't
Yeah.
it?
and that's nothing against anal. Like some people who
Yeah.
have vaginas do get pleasure from it, but it's not something I've ever felt a real motivation to try.
It's just the same as any other top or bottom person. Like it's just what
Yeah.
you're choosing, what works for you.
Yeah.
And my second question is, do FTM guys want to have a penis?
Some do. I don't.
Okay.
I think when I first came to understand that I was trans,
Yeah.
I wanted a penis because I thought that I needed one to be a complete man.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm happy with my body as it is, and I don't feel any desire to change any aspect of it. I think there is like an idea that in order to be a man, you need to have a penis.
Yeah.
But I know that that's not true. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a complete man with
Yeah.
vagina.
Are you happy now?
Yeah.
Like 10 out of 10?
Like 9 out of 10. I guess there's always room for improvement. But
What,
yeah.
what would make it 10 out of 10?
Not having to answer that stupid question.
I think like the situation in the UK for trans people is getting a lot worse. It's quite scary. The situation for sex workers as well is really bad. Even just things like the recent Online Safety Act has made things a lot worse for sex workers. And there's always this kind of fear about what the future will be as a trans person, as a sex worker, and then those two things together, there carries a lot of anxiety with it until the whole world is fixed. It's not going to be 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But in terms of my own self, like 9.
Brilliant.
So I have a question, and it relates to obviously the recent changes regarding bathrooms and all of this. And I say all of this not to trivialize it, but because I don't get it. I don't get why these people are taking the government to court to make these changes and what it is they hope to achieve. And I know you're not the expert on this, but I'm interested to hear your opinion because I don't get it.
I honestly don't either. I can't see what it is other than bigotry. It does feel like they just don't want trans people to exist.
That's what I get.
The way that's happening is just pushing us out from all public spaces. Because if you can't go to the toilet in public, you can't really be in public.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't access single-sex spaces, a lot of places are, you can't be in public. You can't take part in life.
Yeah, because they're using this guise of it's to protect women's spaces, which just seems the
Disingenuous.
stupidest thing
Yeah.
ever. So I grew up with an abusive father. Like domestic abuse was just in our house. And every time I turn on the news, since having a daughter, it's something that there's always things about men being violent to women, and women should have safe spaces. You know, people deserve to have safe spaces. But it's never trans.
No.
I've never read
Or trans
anything.
women. Yeah, a lot of the media focuses on trans women, how they shouldn't be able to access women's spaces. And the thing is, you're right, it's not trans women who are
Perpetrators.
Exactly. And more often than not, trans women are the victims of abuse by men.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're now being pushed out from these single-sex spaces. Things like women's domestic violence centres and things like where are trans women supposed to go? Yeah, it's cruel.
I don't understand when I think about it in relation to J.K. Rowling. And I get it. She was in an abusive marriage and that's why she campaigns for this stuff. But surely her campaigning should actually be focused on, well, men that go around abusing women.
Not about women's rights. There's the number of issues that J.K. Rowling has ignored that she really could have helped with.
Mm-hmm.
Things like access to abortion and things that really affect women. But she never mentioned anything like that. It's really not about protecting women.
So people like her and these women who took the government to court, who then celebrated outside like they had won something.
Yeah.
To clarify, they now want you to go and use a woman's bathroom.
The actual guidelines say that trans men, if they look like cis men, are also not able to use the women's bathroom.
So you should use the men's?
I'm not allowed to use the men's either.
Or the women's?
No. Technically, I guess I should use the disabled bathroom, which obviously isn't always accessible, like as in sometimes it's a lot. And why should we be taking that space away from someone who's actually disabled who needs to use that space? The thing is, the way this is played out is already, not that we should use attacks on cis people as being a reason, because the guidelines are bigoted regardless, but cis women have also been challenged for looking too masculine in women's toilets now, in women's spaces. And this is how transphobia plays out. Like it hurts all women. And like I said, that shouldn't be the reason to argue against them, because the fact that they hurt trans people should be enough. But it's why it feels so bizarre to see cis women campaigning for this. And it's like, if you really want to help women, you would help trans people.
Yeah, or just, you know what, help women on things that will actually help them.
Yeah.
Abortion rights, domestic abuse, not even just domestic abuse, just abuse towards women. Like that seems a great use of everybody's time.
And money, like the amount of money that she's put into this.
The amount of money, and not just her, so many other people. So they're predominantly going after, obviously, trans women. Is there people doing the same thing towards trans men?
We're caught up in the same kind of rhetoric about we're not really men. But the focus is definitely on trans women because the main focus is saying that they shouldn't have access to women's spaces.
They should.
Eddie, I guess one more question when it comes to the impact of government on trans people. Is it difficult to change your documents when you're trans?
Most of my documents I changed a long time ago because I changed my name and sort of gender marker a long time ago. The main one is getting the gender recognition certificate, which changes your birth certificate, which I've now done. It was a little bit complicated. It seems like a very outdated way of doing it. It goes before a panel. You have to send off lots of proof. Things like bank statements in your correct name or driver's license, official documents proving that you've been living as the gender and person that you say you have been for at least 2 years.
You've also mentioned that there are some challenges that you are facing as a sex worker.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about the legality of sex work in the UK. So I'll talk about escorting first. Technically, the sale of sex, the literal physical transaction of sex, is not illegal, but there's a lot of issues around it which are illegal, which is why sex workers are calling for full decriminalisation. For example, if I work with a friend in the same building and we're both escorting, usually for safety, so that you have someone else in the place in case something goes wrong, that's considered brothel keeping, and that's a crime. So people can be criminalised and have been arrested for that.
Okay.
Things like that, which are kind of just safety measures. In the same way, if I pay someone to drive me between clients, that person is also assisting in sex work and they can be criminalised.
Okay.
If I help pay a sex worker's rent because they're struggling, or if I help someone move to the UK, like a friend, pay for the plane ticket or something, I can be arrested for sex trafficking.
Okay.
There's all these things, when you actually look at them, it seems crazy that could ever be criminalised.
Yeah.
Because what I'm doing is helping my friend who needs to get to the UK. But because they're going over a border, that's then sex trafficking. And when people think of sex trafficking and we need to bring in these laws to prevent sex trafficking, I don't think they picture things like that. They picture something much more serious and criminal. They don't picture friends helping friends. I think that's why sex workers are calling for decriminalisation, because that would make all of that a lot safer, a lot easier.
Yeah. When you just listed all of this, I could see, I guess, a little bit why those laws are there, but I'm sure it's not black and white and they're dated and they just need to be refreshed with the new modern society.
I guess, why do you think the laws should be there? Like, why should I get criminalized for working in the same property as someone else?
But some people are sex trafficked and forced to work and have pimps and so on. So again, I could be incorrect. People where that is happening to them, there should be laws to protect those
Completely
people.
agree.
Yeah. However, the government obviously needs to find a balance. If I decide I want to go and be a sex worker just off my own back and I want to employ a driver, well, that's fine.
Exactly.
It's the same when it used to be against the law to have gay sex. Well, whose business is it?
Yeah.
And of course, forcing somebody to have gay sex and choosing to have sex are two completely different things.
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying, Azamat. There should be laws to protect people who are being taken advantage of.
I think the problem is that the laws that conflate consensual sex work with sex trafficking do absolutely nothing to help the people who are actually being sex trafficked. Because if you're putting everything under that same umbrella...
There's no separation.
Yeah, but like I said, if I help someone come to the UK, my friend, that's sex trafficking. That's not the same as someone literally being sex trafficked. But legally, that's how it's viewed. And I think it's things like that it's like, well, how are you going to help someone who's actually being sex trafficked if you're considering what I'm doing is the same thing?
Yeah, well,
I think a lot of the trafficking that actually happens is more to do with exploitative working situations, and sex workers are usually the most vocal people in calling for an end for those. The ways that we're criminalised, and this mostly affects cis women because they're most likely to be in sex, and trans women who are most likely to be in sex work. It's, so for example, if someone's caught loitering on the street looking for clients, they get a prostitute's caution. And most cautions, other than prostitute's cautions, they have a time limit and then they're off your record. Prostitute's cautions stay on your record for 100 years.
100 years.
There's also fines. So if someone gets a big fine for sex working, how are they supposed to pay that off? Of course, they're going to
do more sex working.
work more. Or if they then get a criminal record, how are they supposed to get another job? It's all these things that are designed to stop sex working, but there's no safety nets. There's no other options. People are doing sex work, and especially survival sex work, because of a lack of other options.
Yeah.
And the people who are calling for an end to sex work under the guise of safety for women and blah, 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 don't care about what happens to those women who can no longer sex work.
Yeah.
After that point, they're like, we've done our job. It's like they don't have jobs now. Maybe they've had their child taken away from them. Maybe they've got massive fines to pay off. Maybe they've got a criminal record.
Who cares if you're a sex worker? And I don't mean it rude to you, but
it's a job.
It's a job.
The same
It's
as any
none
other.
of my business.
Exactly.
To shift the gear, a few questions about escorting. What aspects of this job do you enjoy?
I think I like connecting with people. Partly what we were saying earlier about maybe sometimes being someone's first experience with a trans person, and
That excites you?
it's exciting, and I like creating a space where someone can feel comfortable and explore something potentially new sexually and feeling like I'm on the receiving end of something that's new and exciting for them.
Yeah, I can
Is
see that.
it's validating.
Is there a pattern of people who hire you in terms of like, are they gay, are they straight?
They're all gay men, sometimes bi, but I'd say 99% gay men.
And they're all tops?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they're bottoms who just want to eat me out.
Okay.
And how does it work? And tell me to mind my own business. I won't be offended. You have a boyfriend?
Yes.
A very handsome ginger boyfriend.
Yeah.
Is that easy to combine being in a relationship while being a sex worker?
So we met about 3.5 years ago. So I had already been doing sex work for a few years. So when we went on the first date, he already knew what I do for a living and didn't necessarily have a complete understanding of how that would play out within a relationship, as long as we're sort of talking about things as we go along. Like sometimes there might be a random thing that makes him feel a bit jealous or brings up some kind of negative emotion, but in general we just talk about it.
So probably quite similar, would you say, to maybe being in an open relationship?
In some ways maybe even easier, because for me I have quite a clear boundary between what's work and what isn't. It's purely sex. It's kind of that boundary is much clearer. So yeah.
I may be assuming, but with OnlyFans, I think so many guys who did escorting stopped because now they can do only digital content and that's enough of the income. What is your perspective on this?
I like doing both. I like having the two sources of income.
Yeah.
I think they kind of complement each other in a way, because a lot of people who book me as clients have seen my porn and then have sort of contacted me that way. And I enjoy the escorting, so there's no reason not to do it.
Do you ask to have a video call or anything before you meet the new person?
I only ask for a face photo just to know who to expect, and just a little bit of chatting to find out what they want. I think my main requirements for clients are quite similar to what I said about other creators. It's just being communicative and reliable and showing up on time. And if they seem rude or they ask questions which are already answered by my website, then that's too many red flags.
Yeah, fair. Eddy, we usually wrap up with the Blitz quiz.
Okay.
So I have just 5 quick questions. Your favorite gay bar or club?
I don't really go, oh.
No. What's your choice of leisure? How do you spend your...
I go to the theatre and stuff more, or like, yeah. I like Compton's actually. I'll go with that in Soho if we're going to go for a bar.
What's the latest musical or play that you've enjoyed?
The best one I think I've seen in London is Cabaret.
Yeah.
Saw that a little while ago, but it still stands out. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Favorite supplement that you take? Do you take any?
I do.
Okay.
Let's go with creatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drag queens, lip sync or live vocals?
Live vocals.
Yeah. So you're UK style fan.
I've never really watched Drag Race.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Amaze the whole thing. You never watched Drag Race?
Like I've seen clips of it and stuff, but like,
Yeah.
You've been living under a stone.
Yeah.
I'm not even a fan of it, and I've been made watch it like 1 billion times.
By me.
My 5-year-old daughter is now
knows
like
it,
lip syncing around the house. Like,
I think maybe if I actually sat down to watch it, I would probably enjoy it, but I've just never got into it.
I don't think you should. I think there's too much of it.
That's
It's one of
the
these
problem
things. If
now,
you
when you
start,
start,
you're going to have to go back and like watch 967 episodes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it, Eddie.
Queer icon, dead or alive, you would invite for dinner?
Can I say James Baldwin?
Who is
James
that?
Baldwin.
Maybe he's not like a queer icon. I get
Who's James Baldwin?
Yeah,
Writer.
I'm just curious.
What?
A writer.
And what's he written?
my favorite book, Another Country. But he also wrote Giovanni's Room, which is probably the most famous one.
Ah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's one. That's my favorite as well.
Literally.
Should I pick someone more? Like,
No.
I'll go with him. We'll sit with him.
Cool. Eddie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That
It's been
was
an absolute
so
pleasure.
good.
Thank you, Eddie.
Enjoyed it.